Hello, everyone. Let me know if you can hear us because we want to get everything started. Hello, everyone. Let me know if you can hear us. All right. All right, it seems like that we're coming through on YouTube, so which is great. And I just want to say welcome everyone who is out there in YouTube land. I'm Valerie Smith, the program quality director for District 103 Toastmasters, and I'm thrilled to be here with you today. We have just one more day before our 2025 Summer TLI, which is known as, if no one knows what TLI stands for, is Toastmasters Leadership Institute, which is happening tomorrow, June 7th. This year's theme is Living Out Legendary Leadership. And today I have the pleasure of sitting down with visionary behind that theme, our 2025 Summer TLI, Herbert Obah. Herbert, welcome. It's great to have you here. How are you?
It's good to be here, Valerie, and I am doing great. It's Friday and looking forward to the weekend.
Oh, that's great. Well, let's just jump right in. Can you tell our viewers a bit about your Toastmasters journey? What brought you here and where you are today?
Yes, I can. Actually, what brought me to Toastmasters was a TED Talk, and it was a TED Talk by a gentleman who was of Chinese descent. And what was very interesting is that this gentleman actually told about his serious fear of public speaking and how that when he interacted with people, he would actually couldn't hold a conversation. He would end up having to walk away because it was so tormenting for him. And I was inspired because the gentleman became a serial entrepreneur and he was able to have a strong stage presence. And I was wondering, how did he do that? And he gave all his credit to Toastmasters. So that's what brought me to Toastmasters.
Amazing. I'm glad that you were inspired, by that. Because like for myself, when I became a Toastmaster before, I was like a procrastinator. I said, "Oh, I need to join, I need to join." And my friends, they say, "You know what? You just gotta join." And that's it. And and I've just been it ever since. It's just been amazing journey. And I'm glad that you came right into Toastmasters by, looking at somebody else's experience, and that's the only way. And that's the reason why we have you on board, because we definitely want to hear more about what inspired you to choose the theme Living Out Legendary Leadership for this year's Summer TLI.
Valerie, thank you so much for that question. This theme came to me because I actually remember a scene out of one of the great movies I love to watch. And one of those movies is actually Troy. And in Troy, there is this legendary, ancient, half god, half man gentleman named Achilles. And he would inspire people just by his presence, by his actions. People knew he was a legend. People just knew his name. And what I got from that is I started to think of the people of the past that are legends, such as people such as Martin Luther King. You know, you also got Alexander the Great. You have Shaka Zulu. You have all these great, amazing legends. And one of the things is what what was it that made them so legendary? So the whole theme of is how do we live out those same qualities that made them legends?
Wow, that is amazing. I'm inspired already because I have nothing but books of legendary leaders and visionaries, and that is amazing because it's how you present yourself and how you want to be remembered. You hear about, what is your legacy? And to think of a person that's a legend, who led a legendary leadership style. And so I do thank you for expressing how you were inspired to come up with that theme. And themes are great. And this one here was very powerful when you mentioned it to me when we first met. I was like, yes, this is it. So I do have another question. You quite had quite of a, journey, in Toastmasters. Can you share a defining moment that helped shape your leadership style and your personal growth?
Yes, I can remember it like it was yesterday. I remember when I first came into Toastmaster, my first Toastmaster year, I competed. I actually was very, very eager and very taking a lot of initiative. So I competed my first year and I ended up winning second in the area contest for impromptu. And I was so at that time I was just a little disappointed because I wanted to go further. And I had to take some time to like really think through everything and really process the experience. But I remember there was a gentleman in my club named Don Campbell, and he always was very encouraging. He always was motivating. He said, "You got to keep it going. You got to try again. You got to keep working hard. Have you thought of getting into leadership? Have you thought about, moving into the district, trying district leadership?" And, I was like, "Oh man, this is my first year." I said, "I don't know. I don't know how that would be." And he was actually one of the gentlemen who pushed me or encouraged me to become a area director. And I think that the area director position was a thing that really stretched me to a whole nother level. Um, because right after that, the year after that, I ended up competing again, and I ended up winning district for the impromptu speech. So I think that the defining moment was making that choice to take that leadership step.
That's amazing because when you're in your first year, somehow they see that quality in you, and you're like, "Ah, I don't know if I want to take on the area director." And being an area director at that time when you came in, there were two conferences, and you did stretch yourself back in those days because we only
Mhm.
have one conference, but having two conferences as an area director, you're doing double duty.
Yes.
You're doing double duty, and I'm telling you, you learned a lot. And I'm glad that you took on that role as an area director after being in your Toastmasters year in one year. That is amazing. Trust me. And then you went on to compete and won district level. That was great too. Oh my God, congratulations on that. And next question is, why do you believe that this Toastmasters Leadership Institute is such a vital experience for club officers, club members, and even guests? Because sometimes the TLI come across as just a club officers event, but however, it's overall where everybody learns.
Yeah. From my experience, I've been in Toastmasters now for about 6 years, and my experience going to TLIs, it never have I regretted taking that time out to go to a TLI because first of all, the keynote speaker is always very, very powerful and gives out a lot of golden tokens that you can use and play with in your own daily life. And also the sessions are very good. You're able to
Mhm.
take on a deeper dive on certain topics. And then the club officer trainings is great because you're really gathering a lot of information from people who've had amazing experiences, people who've been in Toastmasters for a long period of time. And all of that information is so valuable. I remember, for example, I remember one time I went to a couple club contests, and I
Mhm.
remember coming across one person, Sandra Washington, and I saw her do her club contests, and I saw how everything ran so smoothly. And it was from my observation of her leadership style and her how she was doing things in her club contests is what made my contest very successful.
That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, you learn a lot. And I tell you, I tell a lot of people is that you're going to go away with a lot of nuggets and a lot of experience. And I think that's what makes the TLI. And then you're meeting other people, like you met Sandra Washington and things of that nature. And let me ask you a question, what makes this year's Summer TLI stand out? And what special energy or impact can the attendees look forward to tomorrow?
Yeah, so first of all, a lot of the people when they come to attend the CLI, what they're going to really experience is a very, very stoic and very, very beneficial and practical things that they will be able to attain from this. And what I mean by that is it's going to really be focused on the things that make a leader really stand out and be effective and where people have a great respect. For example, in one of the sessions is going to be on strategic planning. You know, you can have a vision, but if you don't have a plan to execute that vision will never come to fruition. So there is a strategic planning session there that will help people to be able to start formulating that in their mind and bringing that into their arsenal. Another thing is, how do you interact and manage people? How do you people manage? How do you interact with people that they are being led by you and they are feeling that they are being empowered and not disempowered? So there you'll be able to see how you can relate with club members, um, or even in the corporate world as well, in your workplace. Another thing is, how do you do your B2B, or it's like they say, business to business, leader to leader? How do you interact with leaders? Leaders also have to be respected in a certain way. You have to talk to them a certain language so you can be able to get your particular point across. um, I I believe that when you come to this TLI, what's going to happen is you are going to take away so much valuable knowledge. For example, Charles May. Charles May has been a manager in the corporate world, and he has tremendous, tremendous golden nuggets, as you were saying, that will be able to help anybody, even through the interviewing process and what are managers even looking for. So those are also the deeper things that are within some of those sessions.
Great. And now that you're mentioning about our speakers, and of course we call them the legendary leadership educational session speakers, because going right with the theme, I really wanted to, just add a little bonus here, just give a call out who's going to be speaking tomorrow. After Craig Ballantyne gives his great morning keynote on the getting remarkable results through leadership, communication, and change. We have Jerry Evans, the legendary Jerry Evans, who's going to be speaking on Express Your Best Self, Go for Connections, Not Perfection. True impact begins with genuine connection. Then we have Elizabeth Stevenson, one of
Mm,
our another seasoned Toastmaster, just like Herbert was saying strategic planning for leaders, how to plan out goals throughout the Toastmasters year, which is very important starting July 1st. And then we have Charles May. He's also another great Toastmasters of Michigan Avenue Toastmasters, and that's who Herbert is a member of. He's the president of. So Charles is going to be speaking on lessons in leadership. Confidently lead your team, starting with the right tools and mindsets. And
Mm,
myself, I'm going to be speaking on 3 V's of executive presence. That's through
mm,
voice, vision, and visibility. Step into your role like you're building a legacy, not just a title.
mm.
And these are some great tracks, Herbert, that that you can't come up with because sometimes as leaders, we do look at the title. We do look at this power from the title, but however, in this TLI, a lot of the members who are inspired to be leaders, and then we also got those who are also leaders. So with that in mind, I know this is not part of the questions, but I think it's very important that from our district level all the way down to a beginner Toastmaster, do you feel like this here TLI will inspire someone to step out their comfort zone, to take on a leadership role at club level? Because we're really looking for those members to really step out their comfort zone and then also train those who are already leaders to know how to communicate better with their leaders as well. So do you see that as a benefit for both?
Absolutely, 100%. One of the things that I really have seen and why people may not take a leadership role is, first of all, they don't believe they can do it.
Mm.
They feel that they are not adequate enough to execute the leadership role. So most people have a lot of fear. And what this TLI will do is we'll start to help mitigate that fear by giving you practical steps that will help you to be able to execute your role. And not in just this theory based type of way of doing things, because, theory is one aspect of it, but it's theory and then the practicality. How do you execute your role? And this TLI will give you all the tools you need for that. And then also with communicating with other leaders, like I was saying previously, it's very important. For example, there was actually just a statistic that was given by the SBA, the head of the SBA, that in the past there was 80% of entrepreneurs. There was
Mhm.
80% of entrepreneurs here in America. Now there's 6%. There's
Wow.
6%, a massive drop. And what that means is that a lot of people are afraid of taking risks. A lot of people are afraid of taking leadership roles. And there is a huge need for leadership right now. There's a massive gap. And what this TLI will help people do is to take that challenge and to give them and empower them and equip them with what they need to be able to step and be confident in executing their leadership role. Um, so I'm definitely excited. I mean, I think this is going to be something that a lot of people will be able to take away and to be able to have confidence and to try to stepping into those leadership role. And I think the key thing also is for people to ask questions. Ask questions. If you don't know something, ask questions. Learn, observe, watch other people who
Mhm.
are successful at doing it, ask them questions, but question, question, question. Don't just sit on your hands and do nothing. It's all about taking action.
Thank you for sharing that because we are looking for area directors and I'm telling you, you just hit it right on the dime. Ask questions because I believe that a lot of people do have fear in taking on roles like an area director or a division director or anything beyond that. And I think that these Toastmasters, of course, they live by their model where leaders are made, and Toastmasters is all about doing. So
Yes.
it's just taking that one step. And since we are so excited right now to have Craig Valentine, the 1999 world champion of public speaking, as our keynote speaker, what do you think participants will walk away with after hearing his morning keynote and participating in his bonus workshop?
Well, I think people are going to be blown away. And the reason why is, I had an opportunity to talk with Craig and have a little light chat, and that chat was incredible. First of all, you're going to be getting world class knowledge and world class practical steps. Uh, One of the things that you're going to be getting from Craig is 30 about 30 years of sales experience, being in sales for 30 years, and how that has brought him to be the leader he is now in the world. I mean, he just came back from an engagement in India, and they had him in so many different. He had four speeches in India in within a couple days being
Wow.
out there. So you're going to be getting someone who has, again, he's a 1999 world champion. He has tons of experience. He's running a speakers coaching business. He is a man of great wealth and knowledge. And what you'll be able to take from him is that you can do it. You can be where he is. You can be where all other legendary people can be as well. And all it's going to take, he's going to let you know, is taking that step. His workshop will give you also the services to start giving you the tools you need to take that step as well. So also I'd say stay for that workshop, and you don't want to miss it. It's a hit.
Yes. Oh my God. And that's the great thing about Craig. You're going to get some nuggets out of that because why? Like you said, he's been in India. He's putting on these different speeches and keynotes and he does workshops all the time, but they're so valuable that you can add to your everyday life. Now, I know we're almost coming to the end, but I really want them to really, the audience to get to know you as a leader again. Now, let's talk about you as a leader. What goals do you have for your own leadership growth during and beyond your role as a TLI Dean?
Well, there is a plethora of leadership roles, and I think that getting some time to assess a lot of these leadership roles and the value they can bring, um, and how it can transform me and grow me. Right now, I'm the current president. This is my second time, not consecutively, as the president of Michigan Avenue Toastmasters. Um, but I am considering other leadership positions. But one of the things I really want to get out this year and trying to reach beyond just a TLI Dean is to be able to look at the more strategic planning, right? So the more back end of Toastmasters, um, and like I tell a lot of the club members at Michigan Avenue that there's a lot of the brains is the club officers who are doing a lot of the work for the club, and it's the same thing in the district. The district, there's the brain that's working in the background to make a lot of the district work. So um, yeah, so one of the key things is going to be trying to look at a position as I'm assessing the different positions, and then being able to see the ones I would like to grow. I would love to personally grow more in just the strategic planning, and
Okay.
I know we've talked about that before, and we've discussed, and you've helped me out a lot in that. So
Yes.
Yes.
All right. I probably have something for you. Look, recruit. Catch you though, but I got you. Question now. So, as this TLI comes to life, what legacy do you hope to leave, and how do you hope others will be inspired to lead in their own way after tomorrow? It's a two-part question.
Yes, yes. I would say the legacy that I want to leave is that people knew that I was a hard worker. Hard worker. I worked hard. I never I never was lazy, but I always worked hard to bring value to them, to bring value to whatever I'm a part of. That I always was having an input, supporting in any way I can, but I never neglected. But I always did my best to try to make things come through. You know, even if I may not be knowledgeable in something, I may start asking questions, but I'm going to try to be consistent, be in the game. I want them to remember that I am a hard worker. So
Okay. And then how do you hope that others will be inspired and lead in their own way after tomorrow?
I think tomorrow people are going to be able to get get a fire in them to be able to rethink the role again, rethink a role that they may have been afraid of. You know, they're going to be able to look at, oh, okay, these are the key components for leadership. These are the key components that I need to establish so that I can be able to take on leadership or execute the leadership that's before me. You know, um, and I think that whether they're again in the corporate world or primarily in Toastmasters, they will be able to step away with a greater knowledge that will transform them so that they can bring forth transforming to others. So, key thing again, they're going to be strategic planning is going to be one of them. Being able
Yes.
to talk to others effectively, people managing people. And then number two, talking to other leaders, speaking the leadership language to other leaders. And then lastly, having that executive presence that shows that you are a leader, having that presence that people know, wow, this person's a leader. They are very strong. I could feel it. So,
Awesome. And I think people can feel your presence right now and they are signing up. I made sure that in the chat, in our YouTube live chat right now, that if you are in the live chat, there is a link for you to go to the program to see how everything is going. If you have any questions right now, let me just go to the chat right now. I'm gonna copy this link and put it in the chat. I know we have, oh, wait a minute, hold on for a minute. I know right now we do have Sheila Eatons Brown. She said that I love that great theme. She loves your theme, so I do too. I think it's amazing because a lot of individuals are looking to be that legendary leader today. And like you said, there is a lack of leadership right now. And I think that it's time for people to start stepping up to leadership. I think that's a very important thing. Right now, I don't have any questions from anyone. I just think that people are just taking it within what's coming forward. And Herbert, I just want to say thank you for sharing your journey, your leadership, and your heart behind this year's 2025 Summer TLI. And then to everyone that's watching, this is it. This is it. You got to sign up. You got to step up to leadership. And like Herbert said, you got to ask those questions. And then tomorrow is your opportunity to grow. as a communicator, level up your leadership, and connect with a powerful community, which is Toastmasters of purpose and being with driven individuals. This is not just another training, it's not just another meeting, because how many meetings do we go to when we go to work? It's a launch pad. We're bringing the fire, like Herbert said, with Craig Valentine's, our 1999 world champion of public speaking, and leadership workshops, and the tools to help you live out your own legendary leadership starting now. So tomorrow is going to be Saturday, June 7th. The Zoom room will open at 9:45 online on Zoom. Register today, bring a guest, come ready, grow to lead, and walk boldly in your purpose. We'll see you tomorrow at the 2025 Summer Toastmasters Leadership Institute. And Herbert, do you have any last words to say?
The final words is if you want to be a legend, you want to be a legend, it's time to live it out. No more fear. Just take take it take it face value. Face it. This TLI will give you what you need to take it to the next level. I guarantee you. So let's go out and let's live out this legendary leadership.
All
I'll see you
right.
tomorrow.
Great. Thank you so much, Herbert, and everybody give Herbert a hand. And we are looking forward to seeing you tomorrow lead this great TLI. And I am looking forward to it as well. And everyone, don't forget, register, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a great afternoon.